As we near the historic recall election primary 1 week from tomorrow, it's clear the issue that started the whole process is still dividing people in Wisconsin.
Collective bargaining, and more specifically for the Democrats, how would they restore it? News 8's Lou Hillman now joins us live with a closer look at their competing proposals. Lou?
Well, the frontrunners on the Democratic side, Tom Barrett and Falk, say restoring collective bargaining will be a top priority if they're elected governor. But both say the others' plan won't work.
The fight over collective bargaining started with massive protests at the state's capital. It eventually ignited a movement to recall Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. And nearly 16 months later, the issue is still a large focus of the looming recall elections.
I think that the collective bargaining issue was the match that started the prairie fire.
Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett's one of the frontrunners in the Democratic primary. He says there are several ways he could help restore the privilege if elected. One idea is calling a special legislative session to force a vote on the issue.
And I think there will be members of the Assembly that are Republicans who are going to look at that and say the landscape is a lot different now than it was in March of 2011.
His chief rival, Falk, believes there's only one way to undo what Walker did. She's pledged as governor to veto any budget that does not immediately restore collective bargaining for all public employees.
The only tool, power that a governor has is the exercise of that veto power. And that's why it's important to elect a governor who's willing to go to the mat to restore collective bargaining.
Barrett will not make the same pledge, arguing there's an inherent flaw with the idea.
Well, I think that's playing right into the Republicans' hands. What would happen if there was no budget is that you would continue to operate as a state under the existing budget. And the existing budget right now is Governor Walker's budget.
Governor Walker, who leads both candidates in the latest polls, says taking away collective bargaining was needed to help balance the state's massive budget deficit.
It's clear. Do you want to go forwards or backwards?
He says it's a necessary tool for local governments and school districts to be able to offset all the money they've lost in state aid.
Now, a quick history lesson. Collective bargaining was passed into law in Wisconsin back in 1959. The goal is to give unions and their membership an opportunity to negotiate things like wages, benefits, and working conditions. Mike?
Thanks, Lou. And the recall primaries are set for next Tuesday. The general election will be held on June 5th.